Have you ever found yourself strangely obsessed with someone who barely says a word, yet seems to quietly understand the deepest parts of your soul? Why do some quiet people captivate us more profoundly than even the most charismatic extroverts? Here's a striking paradox that quietly reveals a hidden truth. Over 90% of people claim authenticity is one of the qualities they value most in others, yet fewer than half genuinely believe they themselves live authentically. Why do we crave authenticity so intensely yet struggle profoundly to embody it ourselves? In today's noisy, superficial world, the INFP personality quietly stands apart, embodying a rare and profound authenticity that feels quietly revolutionary. Unlike those who loudly declare their uniqueness, INFPs subtly resist societal expectations by remaining gently yet stubbornly true to their inner values. They don't shout their truths or demand recognition, they quietly live them day after day without fanfare. It's precisely this gentle sincerity, so unusual in our world, that draws people in irresistibly. Carl Jung famously declared, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." Yet most of us spend our lives pursuing this privilege, rarely grasping it fully. INFPs, however, quietly achieve this authenticity simply by refusing to compromise their true selves. Observers instinctively sense this rare sincerity. There's no hidden motive, no masks, only a quiet, refreshing honesty that gently captivates. Yet INFP authenticity is rarely obvious at first glance. Isabel Briggs-Myers described INFPs beautifully as having a wealth of warmth and enthusiasm, but they wear their warm side inside, like a fur-lined coat. On the surface, they seem calm, reserved, perhaps even distant. But beneath this quiet exterior lies profound emotional depth, waiting patiently to be discovered. The less INFPs reveal outwardly, the more we long to understand them, creating an irresistible sense of quiet mystery that gently captivates our hearts. Psychologists call this subtle fascination projection. INFP authenticity quietly invites us to project onto them our hidden selves, our suppressed ideals, forgotten dreams, neglected authenticity. Without conscious intention, we begin seeing INFPs as symbolic mirrors reflecting traits we secretly admire but rarely fully embrace ourselves. Quietly, subtly, admiration transforms into deep emotional attachment, even idealization. INFPs become symbolic figures representing authenticity itself, quietly embodying qualities we deeply crave yet rarely achieve. History vividly illustrates authenticity's quiet power. Consider the child from The Emperor's New Clothes, whose simple honesty quietly shattered collective illusions, not through dramatic confrontation, but gentle truthfulness alone. Similarly, the Greek philosopher Diogenes wandered quietly with a lantern, claiming to seek an honest man, deeply captivating observers precisely because honesty had become astonishingly rare. The INFP similarly embodies this quiet rebellion, gently yet profoundly challenging us to confront our own authenticity. Yet beneath authenticity's gentle surface lies another quietly captivating dimension, a hidden inner world filled with secrets, dreams, and subtle wonders. But what exactly lies hidden beneath the quiet exterior that compels us so irresistibly? Chapter 2. The Hidden Universe Within. Have you ever sensed that someone carried an entire universe hidden quietly behind their eyes, an emotional world waiting gently to be explored? INFP personalities often carry within them a secret cosmos, richly imaginative, emotionally complex, and subtly mysterious. This hidden inner universe quietly fascinates us, subtly promising discovery yet always remaining slightly out of reach, gently compelling us to look deeper, to move closer. Carl Jung described intuitive individuals as those who perceive hidden meanings beneath ordinary reality, layers most people never notice. INFPs exemplify this intuitive insight quietly, seeing not just reality as it is, but as it might be, gently sensing hidden emotional truths others overlook. On the surface, INFPs seem calm, thoughtful, perhaps even emotionally detached. But beneath that gentle exterior lies something quietly compelling, silently drawing others closer. Psychological studies reveal this fascinating dynamic clearly. When we sense another person's hidden emotional world, our curiosity surges dramatically, making us nearly twice as emotionally invested, far more likely to form deep, lasting attachments. Quietly, the INFP's hidden inner universe embodies this powerful psychological allure, subtly promising emotional discovery without ever fully revealing its mystery. Each gentle interaction offers tantalizing glimpses but leaves the deeper mystery unsolved, quietly ensuring continual emotional fascination. History vividly illustrates hidden mysteries' quiet allure. Emily Dickinson, barely known during her lifetime, astonished readers after death with nearly 1,800 poems revealing a deeply complex emotional universe hidden behind her quiet, reserved persona. Ever since, observers have remained gently yet persistently fascinated, even obsessed by the subtle mysteries she quietly concealed. Similarly, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry's Little Prince quietly captivates readers precisely because the story subtly hints at profound emotional truths beneath childlike innocence, gently compelling us to explore further, never fully satisfied. Yet fascination with INFP's hidden universes goes far beyond ordinary curiosity. Carl Jung explained that we unconsciously project onto others qualities we secretly desire within ourselves, hidden dreams, suppressed creativity, or emotional depths we rarely openly acknowledge. Quietly, INFPs become symbolic mirrors, reflecting observers' unconscious emotional longings, quietly intensifying attraction far beyond ordinary intrigue. Unintentionally, INFPs subtly become figures symbolizing hidden emotional potentials we deeply crave yet rarely fulfill ourselves. Yet maintaining this quiet allure involves subtle emotional pacing. Reveal too little and curiosity fades, reveal too much too soon, and the mystery evaporates. INFPs naturally maintain this delicate emotional balance, quietly revealing glimpses into their hidden worlds without fully exposing the deeper emotional mystery. This gentle, carefully balanced emotional dance quietly ensures observers remain fascinated, emotionally invested, and gently compelled to explore further. Still, beneath hidden mystery lies another quietly powerful emotional dimension: empathy. INFPs don't merely intrigue you, they quietly create profound emotional bonds through subtle yet genuine understanding. But what exactly makes their quiet empathy so powerfully compelling? And why do we feel irresistibly drawn to those who gently yet profoundly understand our deepest emotions? Chapter 3. The Quiet Power of Empathy. Have you ever wondered why certain quiet individuals effortlessly form bonds deeper and stronger than those forged by even the most magnetic personalities? We often assume charisma or outspoken charm creates profound emotional connections. Yet psychology reveals a quieter, subtler truth. The strongest emotional bonds form not through loud declarations, but through gentle, profound empathy. Could the most powerful force in human relationships quietly reside within those who silently understand us? Carl Rogers, the pioneering humanistic psychologist, once observed something profound. Nothing feels more transformative or emotionally healing than being genuinely heard and truly understood, without judgment, expectation, or hidden motives. INFPs instinctively embody this deep emotional wisdom. Unlike superficial sympathy, their empathy goes far deeper, quietly absorbing the subtle emotions others rarely express openly. Those fortunate enough to experience this profound empathy often describe it as life-changing, a quiet yet powerful validation that someone genuinely understands them on a deeply emotional level. Yet INFP empathy rarely announces itself loudly. It quietly manifests in subtle gestures, patient listening, or gentle words that softly acknowledge someone's hidden emotional truths. Carl Jung himself recognized that introverted feeling types, despite their profound inner warmth, often initially appear emotionally reserved or distant. Ironically, this quiet reserve intensifies emotional fascination once observers discover their hidden empathy, like finding a secret oasis after wandering through an emotional desert. Observers feel uniquely privileged when an INFP quietly shares their profound emotional understanding. Psychological studies powerfully confirm empathy's quiet strength, consistently showing that genuinely empathetic interactions reduce relationship conflicts by nearly 80%, quietly transforming ordinary interactions into profound emotional bonds. The INFP's quiet empathy gently mirrors others' silent emotions, softly reassuring, "I see your hidden fears, your quiet struggles, your silent dreams, and you're never alone." This subtle yet profound emotional validation creates bonds stronger than charisma or confident charm ever could. Yet quietly absorbing others' emotions carries hidden emotional risks. NFP empathy often involves a subtle emotional cost, quietly exhausting their emotional resilience. Here lies empathy's quiet paradox. The same gentle openness that profoundly comforts others quietly risks breaking the INFP's own heart, silently turning their greatest gift into a hidden emotional burden. Ironically, this quiet emotional sacrifice deepens emotional bonds even further. Observers instinctively become protective, even devoted, quietly compelled to emotionally support these gentle souls whose empathy silently requires profound emotional strength. History and literature vividly illustrate empathy's profound yet subtle impact. Dostoevsky's Prince Mishkin from The Idiot quietly heals others simply by genuinely feeling their emotional pain, quietly absorbing their struggles without judgment or agenda. Similarly, Mr. Rogers touched millions of lives not through loud charisma, but gentle, authentic, emotional understanding, quietly demonstrating empathy's life-changing power. People didn't merely admire these quiet figures, they emotionally loved them, deeply attached precisely because their quiet empathy profoundly transformed emotional lives. Yet, quiet empathy also triggers powerful emotional projection. Observers unconsciously idealize INFPs as archetypal healers or symbolic emotional guardians, figures embodying unconditional love, emotional warmth, and quiet acceptance. Jung explained projection as unconsciously attributing hidden emotional desires onto another person. Quietly, INFPs become symbolic mirrors reflecting the emotional healing and validation observers deeply desire within themselves, subtly transforming quiet admiration into profound emotional attachment. But empathy alone doesn't fully explain the quiet magnetism of INFPs. Beneath their quiet emotional resonance lies another quietly inspiring quality, idealism. But why does their gentle idealism quietly captivate us, especially in a cynical, disillusioned world? Chapter 4. Idealism, a quiet flame that inspires. Have you ever found yourself quietly inspired by someone who stubbornly clings to their ideals, even when the world relentlessly tries to extinguish them? At first glance, idealism seems fragile, even naive, easily broken by life's endless disappointments. Yet history repeatedly reveals a fascinating paradox. Subtle, quiet idealism, stubbornly maintained and gently lived consistently, proves powerful enough to inspire deep emotional transformation. INFPs quietly embody this paradox, gently carrying within them an unyielding flame of idealism that subtly yet persistently illuminates possibilities others have long abandoned. Carl Jung described intuitive personalities as those who quietly perceive hidden potentials beneath ordinary reality, emotional and spiritual possibilities most people never notice. INFPs exemplify this intuitive insight quietly, envisioning a world gently shaped by kindness, creativity, emotional authenticity, and quiet sincerity. Their idealism never demands loudly, it quietly whispers, gently reminding observers that another world, one kinder, more compassionate and emotionally authentic, is quietly possible, even amid widespread cynicism and emotional despair. Psychological studies powerfully confirm idealism's emotional strength. Observing genuine idealism profoundly elevates mood, quietly increases optimism, and inspires creative emotional thinking. INFPs naturally embody this subtle emotional influence, quietly inspiring observers to reconnect with forgotten dreams, gently rekindling lost idealism within hearts that have grown cynical. Without ever making grand gestures, INFPs gently ignite emotional sparks within others, quietly transforming silent despair into subtle hope and emotional indifference into quiet inspiration. Yet, quiet idealism faces relentless emotional challenges. Society often dismisses gentle dreamers as impractical, quietly encouraging conformity over conviction. This creates subtle yet profound emotional conflict for INFPs, quietly testing their internal resilience. Observers instinctively admire this quiet bravery required to gently maintain hope, despite constant emotional disappointment and cynicism. Quietly and unconsciously, people become deeply emotionally invested in this gentle defiance, profoundly fascinated by how quiet idealism persists despite relentless emotional resistance. History vividly illustrates idealism's quiet strength. Joan of Arc inspired an entire nation, not through loud proclamations but quietly through unwavering emotional belief in her ideals. Her gentle courage transformed widespread skepticism into profound emotional inspiration. Literature also reflects idealism's subtle yet powerful emotional resonance. Frodo Baggins, quietly carries emotional burdens far beyond apparent strength, gently driven forward by emotional belief in goodness. Audiences emotionally bond deeply, quietly reminded of humanity's hidden emotional resilience. Yet gentle idealism also invites powerful emotional projection. Observers unconsciously elevate INFPs into symbolic figures, archetypes of innocence, creativity, emotional purity, moral clarity. Jung described projection as unconsciously attributing hidden emotional ideals onto another person. Quietly, observers begin seeing INFPs as symbolic embodiments of emotional virtues they deeply wish to reclaim within themselves, subtly transforming quiet admiration into profound emotional devotion. Ultimately, quiet idealism isn't just emotionally inspiring, it's transformative. Quietly yet profoundly, INFPs gently invite observers toward deeper self-reflection, emotional authenticity, and gentle personal growth. Quietly yet deeply, they remind us that idealism isn't emotional weakness. It's gentle courage, stubbornly refusing to surrender hope. Yet beneath their quiet idealism lies another quietly powerful emotional quality, profound vulnerability. Far from emotional weakness, this quiet vulnerability reveals astonishing hidden strength, capable of quietly transforming emotional lives in ways nothing else ever could. Chapter 5. The Beauty of Quiet Vulnerability. Have you ever wondered why we're profoundly moved, not by those who appear invincible, but by those who quietly reveal their hidden wounds, fears, and moments of gentle insecurity? Vulnerability, something we instinctively avoid exposing ourselves, paradoxically becomes profoundly attractive and emotionally captivating when gently revealed by others. Psychological research quietly confirms this astonishing truth. Vulnerability, rather than being emotional weakness, is one of humanity's quietest yet most powerful forms of emotional courage. INFPs intuitively embody this subtle yet profound emotional bravery. Rather than shielding themselves behind emotional armor or manufactured confidence, they quietly choose emotional honesty, gently and openly revealing fears, anxieties, and emotional struggles without demanding attention or emotional recognition. Initially, their quiet openness might seem fragile, yet psychological studies repeatedly demonstrate precisely the opposite. Brené Brown famously discovered that genuine vulnerability dramatically strengthens emotional bonds, quietly creating intimacy far deeper than confidence or charisma ever could. Consider the intriguing psychological phenomenon called the pratfall effect, which finds that people become significantly more relatable and likable precisely when they quietly reveal authentic imperfections or gentle insecurities. INFPs naturally exemplify this emotional dynamic, gently and quietly admitting their emotional vulnerabilities without drama or spectacle. Observers instinctively recognize the quiet courage required to openly share emotional struggles, creating powerful emotional bonds rooted deeply in admiration, respect, and an instinctive urge to emotionally protect these quietly courageous souls. Yet gently embracing emotional vulnerability carries hidden emotional risks. Carl Jung emphasized that genuine emotional growth occurs only when we courageously confront our shadow, the hidden fears, emotional pains, and insecurities we instinctively conceal. NFPs intuitively embrace this profound emotional wisdom, gently confronting emotional shadows rather than hiding behind false emotional strength. Quietly, yet powerfully, their emotional courage transforms hidden wounds into profound empathy and emotional wisdom, silently inspiring deep admiration among observers, quietly witnessing their gentle struggles. Throughout history, mythology vividly illustrates vulnerability's quiet emotional strength. Consider Chiron, the wounded healer from ancient Greek mythology, whose incurable emotional wounds quietly transformed him into a profoundly compassionate figure capable of gently healing others. INFPs quietly mirror this emotional archetype, gently embracing emotional wounds and quietly transforming their vulnerabilities into profound empathy and emotional wisdom. This subtle emotional courage deeply moves observers, quietly inspiring profound emotional attachment, deep admiration, and quiet devotion. Yet quietly embracing vulnerability also invites powerful emotional projection. Observers unconsciously idealize INFPs as symbolic emotional figures representing quiet courage, emotional authenticity, and gentle wisdom. Jung described projection as unconsciously attributing hidden emotional desires onto another person, quietly seeing our hidden emotional selves mirrored in another's gentle presence. Quietly, unintentionally, INFPs become symbolic emotional mirrors, subtly embodying emotional authenticity, gentle courage, and quiet strength. Qualities observers deeply long to reclaim within themselves, quietly transforming emotional admiration into profound emotional devotion. Literature beautifully illustrates vulnerability's subtle emotional allure. Consider the gentle story of the Velveteen Rabbit, in which a beloved toy rabbit quietly becomes real precisely through emotional vulnerability, gently worn, emotionally authentic, quietly transformed by genuine love. INFPs gently mirror this emotional authenticity, quietly yet profoundly inspiring observers toward emotional realness themselves. Without loudly proclaiming emotional truths, their quiet vulnerability gently captivates hearts, softly compelling observers toward emotional honesty, self-acceptance, and profound personal growth. However, the emotional burdens INFPs quietly carry can subtly exhaust their inner emotional resilience, silently challenging their internal strength. Ironically, this quiet emotional struggle further deepens emotional magnetism. Observers instinctively become emotionally protective, quietly compelled to emotionally support these gentle souls carrying hidden emotional burdens far beyond ordinary strength. Yet beneath vulnerability's quiet beauty lies one final profound emotional dimension, an emotional transformation so subtle yet powerful, observers rarely consciously recognize its quiet influence. Quietly yet profoundly, INFPs become symbolic emotional archetypes, gently embodying humanity's hidden emotional dreams, quiet ideals, and subtle emotional truths. But what exactly makes this archetypal transformation so quietly captivating, and why does it resonate deeply within our emotional imagination? Chapter 6. The Archetype of Quiet Inspiration. Have you ever quietly realized that certain individuals, without ever seeking emotional recognition, gradually become symbolic figures in your emotional life, subtly embodying hidden virtues, quiet ideals, or emotional truths you secretly cherish most deeply? Carl Jung introduced the profound concept of archetypes, universal emotional symbols quietly residing within humanity's collective unconscious. These symbolic emotional figures gently shape how we emotionally perceive others, quietly influencing emotional attachment and profound personal transformation. INFP personalities intuitively align with these quiet archetypal symbols, gently transforming themselves into profoundly meaningful emotional figures within the lives of observers. When people encounter INFPs, they rarely perceive them merely as individuals. Instead, observers quietly recognize something deeper, symbolic, profoundly emotional. INFPs naturally embody archetypal emotional roles: the gentle healer, the emotionally innocent child, the quietly inspiring muse, subtly resonating within observers' deepest emotional longings. Quietly, observers unconsciously project onto INFPs hidden emotional virtues they deeply wish to reclaim within themselves: emotional authenticity, quiet courage, gentle idealism. Without conscious intention, INFPs quietly become symbolic emotional mirrors, subtly intensifying emotional fascination far beyond ordinary admiration. Carl Jung powerfully explained emotional projection as the unconscious act of attributing hidden emotional desires onto another person, quietly seeing our unknown emotional selves reflected in another's gentle presence. INFPs quietly become symbolic recipients of these emotional projections, gently embodying virtues deeply longed for within observers' hearts. Quietly, unintentionally, observers idealize INFPs as emotional guides, healers, symbolic muses, quietly transforming gentle emotional admiration into profound emotional devotion. Historically, Dante Alighieri's profound emotional fascination with Beatrice vividly illustrates archetypal emotional projection. Barely knowing Beatrice in reality, Dante quietly transformed her into his symbolic muse, gently embodying emotional purity, spiritual guidance, and divine inspiration. Similarly, observers quietly elevate INFPs into symbolic emotional companions, gently idealizing their quiet authenticity, emotional warmth, creative inspiration, transforming subtle emotional admiration into profound emotional attachment and quiet devotion. The ancient myth of Pygmalion vividly illustrates emotional projection as well. Pygmalion, a gentle sculptor, carved a statue so emotionally perfect he quietly fell in love with it, projecting virtues far exceeding ordinary humanity onto his creation. His emotional longing was so profound that Aphrodite quietly granted the statue life. Similarly, observers quietly project profound emotional virtues onto INFPs, gently attributing subtle qualities surpassing ordinary emotional experience. Although INFPs remain quietly human, their genuine emotional virtues quietly form a foundation for profound projection, quietly transforming admiration into profound emotional devotion. Yet INFPs themselves quietly remain humble, often emotionally uncomfortable with such idealization. Ironically, this gentle humility quietly deepens emotional fascination further, emotionally confirming their genuine authenticity to observers. This quiet modesty subtly intensifies emotional attachment, quietly transforming ordinary relationships into profound emotional bonds, gently evolving quiet fascination into lifelong emotional devotion. Ultimately, archetypal emotional fascination quietly reveals hidden emotional truths, not just about INFPs, but about observers themselves. Quietly and subtly, observers recognize in INFPs virtues they deeply long to reclaim: gentleness amid harshness, emotional authenticity amid superficiality, quiet idealism amid cynicism. By quietly embodying these hidden emotional virtues, INFPs gently inspire profound emotional transformation, quietly inviting observers toward deeper emotional self-awareness, authenticity, and profound personal growth. Quietly yet profoundly, INFPs thus become emotional catalysts, symbolic embodiments gently representing hidden emotional ideals observers secretly cherish. Emotional fascination with INFP personalities quietly becomes a gentle yet powerful emotional invitation, softly compelling observers toward emotional honesty, quiet courage, authenticity, and meaningful emotional living. Perhaps by quietly embracing these subtle emotional virtues ourselves, we too can gently transform our emotional worlds, quietly yet profoundly inspiring emotional authenticity, gently illuminating humanity's hidden emotional potential.